Turkey is calling for a permanent end to the fighting. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan told Ukraine's president that he's ready to be a mediator and facilitator for a lasting peace, and has told Russia's president that he needs to lay down arms and come up with a fair solution. Let's bring in Ibrahim Kalin. He is the spokesperson and chief advisor to Turkey's president. He joins me now from Istanbul. Ibrahim, great to have you back on the show, and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Good to be here. Happy New Year to you too.
Let's talk, Ibrahim, about this the ceasefire that has been called by President Putin. As we have been reporting on the show, as our correspondent was telling us about 20 minutes or so ago, it's clearly not working. I believe President Erdogan has had calls with both sides, with Putin and Zelensky. What is the thinking and the reaction to this unilateral ceasefire?
Our president spoke to President Putin and President Zelensky yesterday on the same day and repeated this call for a unilateral ceasefire, but also bilateral or mutual ceasefire. That should be extended, of course, not just to 36 hours, but beyond that. But unfortunately, that is not working, as you have pointed out. That shows the extent to which this war has turned into a stalemate right now. And as we see it, neither side is in a position to have a decisive victory on the battlefield. But we will continue to work for a ceasefire in the battlefield areas in the days to come, especially around the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant, which remains a very major security threat for everyone. We want to make sure that no clashes, no accidents happen in the Zaporizhzhia area.
And Ibrahim, and I read in the Turkish government readout, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that President Erdogan had suggested a unilateral ceasefire. Just explain, why would Turkey call for a unilateral ceasefire? I mean, what is the thinking?
Well, but basically, I mean, it's the Russian bombardment that is making this war continue and more difficult for any negotiations. The battle itself is taking place on Ukrainian soil, and therefore the Ukrainians are, right to be very suspicious of, Russian attempts to, go for negotiations without stopping this bombardment and war. But at least is some kind of a unilateral ceasefire, meaning that Russia stops. And then this is followed by Ukraine. And this is what our president offered to both leaders yesterday on the call, so that we can have localized ceasefires. Perhaps this can turn into some kind of a negotiating environment where the negotiators can come together again. But of course, we are adamant to continue to make this call. But realistically speaking, the facts on the ground are such that neither side seems to be willing to lay down their arms and come to the negotiating table at this moment. And we are concerned that in the next few months, we will see a more escalation of fighting in Ukraine.
So it's a starting point, is what you're saying. But, Secretary of State Blinken a month ago predicted that the Russians would propose a temporary ceasefire, but I think he called it a phony off-ramp as a way to rest, refit, regroup, re-attack. Do you agree with this assessment?
Well, it's understandable that there is mutual distrust between the Ukrainians and the Russians and those who support both sides from different angles. But I think we really have to see beyond that. What is the end game here? If you want the war to continue, all right, let it continue. Then this will be more destruction, more losses for everyone, and this is no good for anyone. I think we really have to ramp up our efforts from all sides, from the Russian side, from the Ukrainian side, from the Western Bloc, from NATO countries, the US and others, to try to bring the parties to the negotiating table. I mean, the calls for, a decisive military victory on the battlefield for either side are rather difficult to ascertain, difficult to achieve. The sides may achieve some tactical goals, but they will not serve any strategic goals here. And what is the strategic goal? That is the main question. And when you ask this, on one side says it's the destruction of Russia or the removal of President Putin. Some others, can make other claims, etc. But we have to stop the bleeding first. And we have the ongoing war, which is about to enter its first year in a month or so. Therefore, what we're trying to create is an environment in which the two sides can come together. And if there is a ground for the leaders to come together with all the negotiating terms, of course, on the table, understandably, And the Ukrainians, of course, need to see some concrete action from the Russian side. That is not only a ceasefire, but also a kind of a phased, planned withdrawal of Russian troops from Ukrainian soil. Talk about prisoner exchange. Talk about securing the Zaporozhye nuclear plant. Talk about the continuation of the grain deal. A number of other terms, a number of other key issues that have defined the main parameters of this war since the beginning. Those are the things that we need to be focusing on. Otherwise, if you let this war continue as it is, I think 2023 will be even more difficult for both for Ukraine primarily, of course, because Ukraine has been carrying the main brunt of this war, but also for world economy, for the energy security, for grain security, food security, as the IMF, for example, has predicted that 2023 will be a tougher year than 2022 because we will see a global recession in the major economies of the world. I mean, given all that, I think we really have to take a more realistic long-term perspective and give our full effort to create conditions in which two sides can come together and stop the fighting.